Shalom, Yashala, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh. I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Yasharallah. Call Haloyim Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Harakah Kodash for blessing our elders with the spirit of truth so that we may know. Shout out to the Akim and the Akwak that's keeping the faith in the works. Y'all keep at it. It's your brother Abai coming at you with more precepts. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 2. Salak, chapter 2, verse 1. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Right? The prophecies are jumping off the pages, and Yahweh B'Ashem Yahweh Shai has set up men to cry aloud about what they're seeing as it pertains to what's going on in the world, and equating it to prophecies in the scriptures. And this is all I can say. I'm going to go to the book of 1 Peter. 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 7. But the end of all things is at hand. Be therefore sober and watch unto prayer. So with that, I'm going to let this video play, and I'll be back.
Well, over 100 days since the war began in Ukraine, Russian President Vladimir Putin has issued a new threat. He warned that Moscow would strike a new target if the West supplied Kyiv with more long-range missiles. Listen in.
Они будут поставляться, из этого мы будем делать соответствующие выводы и применять свои средства поражения, которых у нас достаточно для того, чтобы наносить такой удар по тем объектам, по которым мы пока не наносим.
This ominous statement came hours after several explosions rocked the capital of Kyiv for the first time in over a month. Russia said that it hit tanks supplied by European countries. Ukraine said that a railway repair plant was destroyed. Putin.
This is Dabu 7. It really does seem like many countries are falling apart, and it seems like that's all by design. There's actually books written on the downfall of America itself by Manly P. Hall. And the agenda has been thrown out there in the wide open. A part of this is called the Shared Economy Agenda, and it was put forth by the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab and his goons. And part of the key factors connected to this is UBI, or Universal Basic Income. This is where they get everyone to start feeding off of the government, the beast. And then you have nothing. As you can see here, in the image, it kind of shows and portrays what's happening here. And you can tell when you go out there with the workforce getting shattered because so many people were leaning and depending on the government and going that route, getting everything that they need from the government. And this is going to make it harder to say no to anything that they want down the road. I hope you know that. And when they come down the road saying that you're going to take this or you're going to do that, or else we're cutting off all your stuff, it's going to happen en masse. And
now we're going to continue focusing on this. We're going to establish a task force on social media and violent extremism to investigate the role of social media in promoting domestic terror. And now we're going to continue focusing on this. We're going to establish a task force on social media and violent extremism to investigate the role of social media in promoting domestic terror. And our great leader, our Attorney General, will be championing this cause with every power her office can bring at their disposal. Thank you, Senator DeBay.
Now, this war that is unfolding in Ukraine is actually rewriting history and paving the way for a new world order. Millions of people have been displaced, and economic fallout due to this war continues without any solution in sight, like the food crisis that is looming across the world. Now, we're talking of a crisis, but many countries are already facing the ramifications of this food crisis that has been sparked by Russian invasion into Ukraine. Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi spoke to Russian President Vladimir Putin regarding this issue. He accepted that this issue exists, but he's refused to take the fault for it. Moscow blames this entire crisis on Western sanctions on Russia.
Poi io ho terminato dicendo che poi dovrò chiamare il presidente Zelensky e vedere se c'è un'analoga disponibilità a procedere in questa direzione. È un'iniziativa che ho sentito il dovere di prendere per la gravità della crisi umanitaria che può toccare poi i più poveri del mondo. Speriamo, ma a me interessa una questione più definita, più piccola, che è quella di cercare di vedere se si riescono a sbloccare questi enormi quantitativi di grano nei porti del Mar Nero, nei porti dell'Ucraina e del Mar Nero.
Report is about an alarming trend: rising food prices from grains to cooking oil, the price of basic staples skyrocketing across the globe. The reason for this is the war in Ukraine and droughts fueled by climate change. For countries, this is an alarming situation. Price hikes are worsening already existing food crisis, fueling protests in several countries across the world. In Argentina, thousands of farmers protested in Buenos Aires. This was against President Alberto Fernandez. His policies to curb inflation have been slammed by the agricultural sector. In the first 4 months of 2022, prices in Argentina rose to 23%. This includes a 6% jump in April. Things got so bad that people took to the streets. It's called Federal March for Work and Salaries. They demanded jobs, security, and a basic living wage.
Familia tipo que se conforma por 5 personas.
A typical family made up of 5 people must spend around 80,000 pesos to survive. We see that Argentines do not earn that much money. They earn much less. So we are at a time in which the population is living below the poverty line, and many residents in Buenos Aires and the rest of the provinces are poor. This national march is to speak out on this.
Son pobres. Entonces, bueno, esta marcha federal un poco viene a mostrar esto.
Not just in Argentina, people took to the streets all across Latin America. Protests continued in Chile, Uruguay, Venezuela, Colombia, as people slammed the rising cost of living. In Greece, thousands took to the streets, their complaints same: a surge in energy and food prices. Greece's annual consumer inflation accelerated to 8.9% in March, hitting its highest level in over 27 years.
The wages are meager in comparison to the rising prices at the current time. The people are exhausted. There is a serious problem here, and this crisis is bringing Greek society to its knees.
In West Asia too, the situation is no different. Prices of some essentials have shot up by as much as 300%. The surge has triggered widespread unrest. Earlier this month, Iran slashed subsidies on basic food items. New prices of wheat and flour were announced. This is how people reacted to this. These protesters, they're chanting death to Raisi. It got so bad that the president himself issued a response. He refused to restore the subsidies, saying that he won't shy away from making hard choices. In Sudan, protests escalated into violence. A protester was shot and killed in the Sudanese city of Madani as demonstrators marched across the country to protest a military coup. Sudan's currency has lost more than a third of its value since the coup, rapidly driving up prices of food, fuel, and other goods. Global food prices started to rise in mid-2020. This was when businesses shut down due to the pandemic. Since then, there have been problems with key crops in many parts of the world. The Ukraine war dramatically worsened the outlook for food prices. The UN Food Agency says prices hit an all-time record in February and then again in March. The big question here is, when will the prices come down? That's hard to say. Agricultural production depends on hard-to-predict factors like weather. The United Nations says the problem of global food security cannot be solved without restoring Ukrainian agricultural production and Russian food output. The World Bank...
Now, this is how it is actually playing out. War in one country would affect trade and diplomacy globally unless you are the United States of America, which believes in hoarding, whether it be COVID-19 vaccines or food imports. But for the rest of the world, they are waiting for the crisis to in fact explode. Now, this war that is unfolding in Ukraine is actually rewriting history and is paving the way for a new world order.
Right. So, all of this is going on at the same time, and I didn't even cover everything, man. I did not cover everything, right? It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 13 and verse 6. It says, "How ye, for the day of Yahweh is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt." Right? This is what's on the horizon, bro. Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai is tearing this place apart, and they can't do nothing about it. And at the end of the day, if you are the Most High's people, you're going to be a part of it. Right? Notice what Buddy said. He said, everybody's suffering but the U.S. because they hoarding this and they hoarding that. You think he's an Elamite. He's an Indian. Think he the only one that think like that? Right? And if I'm not mistaken, India is one of the daughter of Babylon's allies. I could be wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe so. But that take my mind to Revelation 17, where it says in Revelation 17 and 16, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For power hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of power shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth." This place is done, right? But at the end of the day, also, if you the Most High's people and you doing what you're supposed to be doing to the best of your ability, you ain't got to worry about none of this, man. This is a joyous occasion. This is good news, because it means the beginning of your rulership, the beginning of your kingdom is at hand, right? It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 35 and verse 3. It says, "Strengthen ye the weak hands and confirm the feeble knees. Say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, your power will come with vengeance, even power with a recompense. He will come and save you. Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped." So with that, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Ratazah, these precepts in this video were edifying. Kol Haloyim Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Harakakudash. Shalom Yashala.